step on it, crushing me.
Motherfucker with 100 fucking racks, hey, don't face me, bitch, turn your back. I've been running on this bed, stacking all these fucking racks, hey, that's why all these bitches looking at me like that. Bitch, I wanna fuck all these bitches for you saw. I've been working to myself, cause these bitches can't talk. I've been in my feelings every single fucking day, but I keep it to myself, cause I'm trying to get paid, yo.
I whip it out of cheap, about a guzzle a gallon. I see my bank account go out to double my balance. These motherfuckers don't wanna compare the hustle with talent. He wasn't about it, an outfit, it's done in a palace. Motherfucking little weed lace, couldn't be kings. Got a 6 cents, boy, I be seeing things. In the corner store,
Alrighty. Hello, y'all. Start off today with doing my 3 pots with you guys. Today my mom is here, so I gotta make sure I'm getting stuff done on a good timeline so I can spend some time with my mom. So I will be probably just doing this today, and then kind of exactly like what I did yesterday in regards to format of the video. And then today, since it's early in the morning, there's not a whole lot I can talk about, so I'm sort of just going to meander around with what I'm going to be talking about today, and then maybe we'll discover some talking points together while we're throwing. Oh, I don't have this. I got to make sure the focus is in the right area. It's kind of cool, this camera, I can click on a spot and it just automatically will focus there. It's a pretty neat little camera. Yeah, I was telling my mom earlier, I'm looking forward to, like, one day I'll have, I think I mentioned it to you guys, having multiple cameras and I have a foot pedal over here that controls speed. But if I had another foot pedal on my left side here that controlled the angle, right? And I hook up all the cameras, and then a foot pedal can change which angle we're looking at everything at, right? Which I think would be like just a pretty cool thing here, Look at that. Really getting a good stretch in the clay here. But if I'm gonna do that, I gotta get a computer that's meant for just the streaming stuff. So I'd probably get some, like, I don't know, just get some computer that's just meant for streaming. I'd probably get like the motherboard and stuff that look like circuit boards and stuff, the cheap ones, And I'd use, like, everybody hates on the Noctowl fans, like the brown ones. I'd get like the brown fans and shit, just because it doesn't matter really what's in it, as long as it can stream, which I think, like, I don't need to have crazy hardware, as long as I can stream and then change the camera and stuff with the foot pedal, I think it'd be pretty awesome. And I don't think any potter, the people who are going to do that sort of thing, anybody who do that, what they're going to be good at is the computer sides of stuff, right? I don't think they're going to be as good as the ceramic side of things, right? And I think that's like where my superpowers lie, is that I can get pretty mediocre at things relatively quickly, right? Like, but I have a struggle becoming the best at something, right? And there's that saying, it's it's like a jack of all trades is a master of none, but a master of none is better than a master of one. I think that's the whole phrase, or it's something like that, right? And so I think that's like really where my skills lie, is that I can kind of just dip my toe in a lot of different things all at the same time. I mean, dude, we are really just getting so much better at making these poles, guys. Like, this clay is really soft, too. Like, this clay feels like it's on its last limb. And look, I can sort of get it all ready here. But how cool would it be if I'm like, here, you guys, look at it from the top real quick. And I have a camera above me, and you guys can see the inside. Right, and then you can see one from this angle and from this front angle here, so you'd have a zoom in of like what my fingers are like doing, which I don't know, I think it would just be like, I think if I get famous at all, you know, one day, like those are the videos that are gonna do it. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna keep on, you know, chugging away, because you can't just stop what you're doing, you know. You gotta, I think that's like my biggest problem in my life so far, is like I'm always taking like these like half measures on things, right? I mean, look at this thing, it's like freaking screwed up. Okay, well, we're gonna just try for here. I'll stop there. Cool. Yeah, but my whole life, guys, I'm telling you, it's all been nothing about having big ideas, right? And then giving up, right? One way or the other, right? Convincing myself that I can't do it, right? And it's all because I wasn't used to this idea of delayed gratification, right? I was just like, I always wanted things now, you know? But I think I'm getting at the point now in my life where I don't think I'd be happy when I die, right? And then the only thing I can say about my life is I attempted to do a bunch of things, and I never had the guts or the intensity to follow through with any of them, right? That seems like the most, you know, if you live eternally after you die, I don't think I'd be able to live with myself knowing that I freaking had all these ideas and I didn't complete a single one of them just because of my own lack of discipline. Here's number 1. This one's okay. I think I just really need to get some harder clay and we'll be in a good spot, right? I think I'm getting the throwing and the thinness like on point, but I'm really struggling with the twists nowadays. Like getting the twists to feel or to kind of collapse and control. I'm getting too thin now where it's hard to control the thing. But sometimes it leads something cool, but other times I don't know. Alright, here's number 2. But how cool would it be to be known as, like, in today's day and age, like one of the great YouTube potters, right? Like, I think that would be a cool thing. And I hold a lot of esteem for like YouTube, just because I grew up right when YouTube was at its starting point, you know? I watched a lot of YouTube when I was young, and I think it'd be a good way to like leave my mark in a world, is not just on YouTube, right? But there's sort of the being recognized as a modern day potter, right? Or a ceramicist, or just a clay worker, right? Sometimes I think potter is pejorative to me now. has like a negative connotation to it, right? Like you say you're a potter and it's like you're putting like bell peppers on the side of your pots with cute faces, you know. That's not me. That's not my version of pottery. So I think if I can get a following, you know, I'd love to be able to inspire people to, you know, do their own thing here. I mean, look at how we're doing this, guys. And up. And then we're gonna go switch to one hand here, get some water, drip it on that hand. Look at that. Fist come down, hammer down. We're pretty much centered there. Have a little hole here on the top. And what do we do whenever we have that? We don't want any friction, so we're gonna fill the pond with some water. We can't have our tadpoles drown. Open this up. And we don't want to be pushing the clay, we want to be cutting through the clay on that one. And we're gonna sort of level and compress this bottom. I say compress, but I really don't think it matters to me, really. At least not on these forms. And so it's kind of just about trying to get as thin as possible, so I can get as much clay as possible in this wall thickness here, so then I can get them pretty tall, you know. I mean, this is less than 5 pounds of clay, right? Each bag is 25 pounds. I get 6 out of each of the bags, you know. It's a little bit less than 25 pounds, or a little bit less than 5 pounds. And then I have this, I've been doing this sort of weird pull, but let's see if we can do something here. We're gonna start, get up underneath it here, and I'm gonna do an above. So this one I'm just pulling from underneath rather than above. I don't know if that makes sense. Like my S curve is not like this, exterior, interior. It's like this, interior, below exterior, right? And I feel like it worked pretty well. It just sometimes, it doesn't really get that clay on that bottom there, man. That's always the hardest part. It's just getting this clay. And then just roll it over. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh man. Dang. This is the first mess up. I went way too thin. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. This is my first mess up on camera. So you guys get to see me. I mean, obviously that I'm pissed off, right? And I think it's good to be pissed off. But what were my problems there? I went way too thin on the bottom, way too fast. So maybe I shouldn't have changed up my pattern there. Pattern of making, I mean. So I'm gonna have to wedge another chunk of clay. So this video is gonna go a little bit longer here. Give it a pump. There we go. And we're always going down first, then up. Some water on there. And down and up. And down. And stop right here. And so now I'm taking that angle, so then you'll see it when I pop up, right? Even though I'm pushing down, right? Think like Lightning McQueen in the movie Cars, when he's like, you gotta turn left to go right. Right? You gotta push down to go up. Alright, this one's gonna be a little bit wacky. You see I kinda tore it here. So we're just gonna Start pushing down here, and then go up the side. Nice, slow, steady. And that's just because it started ripping in the middle, so I had to go a little bit slower, right? But you can sort of see, if you just slow down your wheel in those tense moments, that's all you got to do. You don't really got to do anything else other than just slowing down and being intentional with your hand movements. Meanwhile, I say that, but I just like fucked up a pot. But again, it's good to know, like, seriously, there's some days, guys, where I come down here. I actually haven't had one of these days in a long time where I can't make a single pot, right? Imagine like when I was first doing these tree forms, I would sit here for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and I couldn't make a single one. And you could imagine how pissed off I was. I don't know, if you look back at some of the early videos, you'll see, like when I didn't have a green screen, you'll see in the background I had this table, and the whole entire table was filled with failures from that day. It was so brutal. It's just, it's just how it is sometimes. You're not going to win them all. Alright, we're going to go back to our other way of getting that clay up on the outside. And it's just that look at that, guys. I feel like that way always works a little bit better. I don't know, I feel like I just have a better angle of approach. Okay. It's a little bit off center on the top, but that's okay. We're going to go right up underneath where it started getting off centered. And then as we get to the top, we're going to slow down, because if we don't, then this top, since it was wide, it's going to like collapse in on itself. Right? Whenever you feel the clay sort of battling against your hands, you got to do one of two things. Lower your pressure, lower the speed. Right? Usually, if you do one, all of a sudden, alright, well, what are we gonna do here? I gotta just go for it. Dang! Man, sorry guys. Today's just not a good day. Maybe we'll get something cool out of this one. Has a weird stance. This one's actually not bad. Sometimes the ones that are like weird like that end up looking kind of cool. Like on the interior, you guys can't see, but the interior looks really funky on this one. Still has a pretty good twist on it. So, not bad. But that first one is looking like it's our best one so far. This one, there's a lot going on, so we're just going to do a simple bottom here. Because if you do too much, right? Just kind of fixing these so they look all good here. If you do too much on a one that has a complex top, sometimes it looks a little bit shitty. But, okay. There's number 2, guys. Alright, now you're just going to listen to me talk while I wedge up some more clay here in a second. I'm gonna set this on top of this pot here. And so you guys are just gonna have to listen to me for a little bit. I don't even know what I'll do here. I'll let you guys look at a spinning bottle. There you go. Have fun looking at this, guys. On a green screen, this thing probably looks weird. So there you go. I'm gonna wash my hands so you can look at the spinning bottle. Yeah, but today the clay, like I said, guys, is just a little bit soft. And I'm trying to do too much at once. Since my mom's here, I think I'm rushing a little bit. And so I gotta make sure I take my time with this last pot, especially since the only real good one was, I think, the first one. And even then, I think it was like average, right? Like, I think I want this last one to have some power, some punch to it, just because I'm a little bit disappointed in myself here. I hope the bottle's looking cool. It's so weird seeing that on there. My buddy, he actually did this piece, like where he took like one of those blue jugs that people put water for in their house or whatever. He like filled it up, or he didn't fill it up. He like made it look like it was a pot and look like it was fancy or something. Like if it was like a nice, like really good, like Grecian, like funny named pot, you know. And I don't even know, like an amphithora or whatever it is. I don't even know all the names, but you know how like in Greece, pottery had specific names depending on. I think I need some more clay here. Do I? Maybe a little bit more. Pottery had different names depending on the form, right? And so that was kind of like, I think he was playing off that, but it's just a plastic thing instead of like a fancy object. He always plays with like material sleight of hand, but like wants the material to like be honest with itself, you know? Like that's his thing. It's like he wants the material to represent itself usually, right? And then when he doesn't do that, it brings like vision, or like it draws your eye towards those objects, right? For example, he did like a bunch of these ceramic eggs, and so you're in the mentality that maybe it's like it's really just a ceramic object, and then he has a giant one, it's made out of wood, right? So then it makes you believe that it's like a giant ceramic object, right? So that's kind of where the sleight of hand parts happen in his work. But he did this plastic bottle with, imagine like this, but then it has like two beautiful little handles on it, which is like the wrapping, like water bottle wrapping. It's so cool. I actually quite like it, but I know a lot of people think it's kind of like art people are like, what? But I don't know. I think they just are being a little bit like, everybody's for the banana and the fountain thing, the urinal, but for conceptual art. But I think a lot of people, what they see conceptual art isn't really conceptual art anymore. Conceptual art is just funding, you know? Like if you're a conceptual artist, the only way that you like are gonna be like believed for your work, in my opinion, is first you're gonna have your people, like your followers, that are gonna be kind of like devout to you no matter what, right? Then you're gonna have like the art people who are gonna defend you, right? Because everything is art, you know, that's their belief, you know. There's no value. Every art is the same. But then they don't realize that they're propping up the like companies and corporations that are, you know, using art as like sort of as like a financial cheat code, you know. And of course, some people are looking at the art, right? But a lot of it is just of the status. I guess, I mean, look at Sotheby's is in like numerous controversies about like people like investing in like work for the pure fact to make financial gains from it, right? Not because they actually enjoy the art or the artist, but because they can use it to avoid certain, maybe like taxing of certain stuff, or, you know, it's all about, it's not just at face value, right? And so if you're a conceptual artist, only way you're going to make it big is if you find somebody to sort of prop you up on that list with their money, right? But that's why I think there's a lot of power in social media that people aren't using, right? Like, you actually have power to, like, you know, what is power, right? Like, and I'm thinking about like what I believe power is. And when I'm thinking about power, the first thing that comes to my mind is power is first control of information, right? And so as people interacting with the internet, right, the largest hub of human beings that can be connected worldwide, right? If you can have your work, your ideas have influence on that ecosphere, right? That's real power, right? It used to be like you were a king or a queen and you made the laws, right? But the internet, it's its own kingdom, and whatever is the most popular on there is the truth, right? And that's why you have huge clashes of political ideology online, and people say some of the most freaking gorish stuff, because it is like a war. It's like a battle of ideas, right? And so I want to be able to have some say on what I think, right? And I don't need, not really into the whole political sphere of things, right? Because that's always going to be changing, right? Where I think true value is found within oneself and found within like anything that has to do with the purpose of life, right? And so if I can show people like, this is my path that I found, and pottery is the method that I found it, right? I hope that it can help out other people, right? You know, there's a lot of people that will spend their whole lives, get to the end, and not have anything to like say for their life, right? I think the things that you build and things that you create, they are your opinions on the world for people in the future to tap into, right? And so that's why I think the internet is so cool, because it's allowed us to sort of have, like, literally have us and our making and everything tied to the work to some degree, or maybe perhaps it is the work, right? Like, you watch a fun little video about Minecraft, but you're actually like looking at what somebody finds is important, right? And if you watch, you're sort of aligning yourself to some degree, right, with like the video's opinion on what's valuable, right? Like Minecraft Hunger Games, that must be valuable. Why is that valuable, right? It could be something simple like, you know, it's just like that idea of that victory, right? And so you're thinking about, okay, like what gives you the most joy when you're playing that game? And it's the same thing with things like Fortnite, right? What is it, right? It's that chicken dinner win, right? It's all about that winning, right? And the value is of defeating your enemy, right? And being recognized as the best, right? That's the value. Outplaying your opponent, right? There's so many things and so many games that are sort of about that, I think, League of Legends, Minecraft, Hunger Games. I think most competitive shooters, CSGO. And so it tells you that there's like something that's a little bit deeper that we don't really talk about as much. Alright, there we go, guys. Holy shit. That one felt good. And what are those deeper things? Right? It's maybe something that's like locked away in the psyche of our mindset, right? Or maybe like something that's actually very human, right? Like just the idea of being recognized. Maybe that's also why like single game players are sometimes hard for people to tap into, because the only one who's ever gonna recognize you is yourself, right? And some people are really good at just that being enough, but other people, they want sort of that social recognition. And we're actually going to stop there. We're going to see how this one turns out. I think I have the thickness on the bottom. So I'm going to pull through this line, through that line, through that line, through that line. It should be thick enough on the bottom to support this top part here. I'm just going to feed that all the way up. But games are kind of cool because to some degree games show something about a culture in which they find is important, right? There's something about that game that's important to that culture. Oh, this one's kind of cool. Something about it. It doesn't matter what the game is, right? It has some reflection on the people who play it, right? As much as I like to say that I'm a mentally stable League of Legends player, oh my gosh, there's games in which when I play them, I feel like I'm gonna go crazy. Oh, what? The video stopped. Sorry, guys. I can't believe this. Is it just because it's full? Oh no, I got to 30 minutes, I think. Sorry about that. You guys probably didn't even see what I did. I didn't even notice. This one's okay though. Okay. This one's gonna be a really nice one to cut. I mean, look how much space I have on the bottom here. But yesterday I was playing a League of Legends game. Like right before I went to sleep, I was like, you know what, I'll play one. And literally, it was the most tragic thing I ever seen in my life. We had a top laner. If you guys don't know, there's 3 lanes in League of Legends. And we had somebody going in that top lane, and they were upset because somebody banned the character that they wanted to play, right? So they were being pouty because somebody on our own team, I guess, did that. And so they were just like permanently feeding. Feeding, what it means is they were just practically giving the kills to the enemy, and because they didn't want us to win, right? So it's like the lowest form of like sabotage in League of Legends. And so he was feeding, and then we had a jungler, right? And so that's the person who's sort of in the 3 lanes, top, middle, and bottom lane. The jungler is sort of the one who's trying to help out those lanes and gain map map dominance, right? Like a good jungler can really carry a game, right? So this is kind of the funny part, was that our jungler also was feeding. He didn't want to play, so he was like, you can get the max is level 18. So while I'm like level like 16 or 18, he's level 9, right? And so you can see that he just wasn't trying. He was just moving, so he didn't get like, if you don't move for a while, you can do something called a remake, and then that person will get banned. So he wasn't trying to get banned, but he was trying to sabotage us, right? But me, the other person in the bot lane, ooh, it's collapsing, and our mid laner, we did so good that even though it was a three people versus 5, we were winning, right? And we won, right? And so, there's something that's, I don't really know why I went on that whole tirade about League of Legends, but there's real value that I think about being in a team, being with a team, and like trying to overcome an obstacle, right? And so our obstacle was our teammates, right? Because they were not wanting to play, they were trying to quit, but we still pulled through. And that's also the thing, like sometimes like the coolest moments in that game, look at that looks kind of sick. The coolest moments in that game are the moments in which you believe you're gonna lose, right? Like there's no chance that you're gonna win, right? But then what do? You win anyway, right? When the odds are stacked against you, right? And I think this is where I find a lot of value, is where the odds are stacked against you and you still pull through the win, right? It's the same thing with some of these other games, like you talk about Fortnite, right? That's a really popular game for kids that are a little bit younger than me, I guess, or around the same age. But you talk to those people, and what do they like? They like that you're going into battle with 50 or maybe 100 other people, right? And so the odds that you win are really slim, right? And then you turn out on top, right? It's the same thing with gambling. It's the same thing, right? There's that chance, right? And some people like the chance being up to luck, right? And they believe that they have good luck. But me, I like when that is just through pure fucking aggression and terror about winning. Like that fear that I'm gonna lose, right? I love the what if, right? The what if, even though we were 3 people versus 5, right? This is gonna be the thumbnail. What if it was like, even though it's a 3 versus 5, we still came out on top and won, right? It's the fucking coolest thing. And I don't know, it kind of motivates me to bring some of that energy. And I think what happens is people only invoke that energy in the game. They're only doing that in game, and they leave it after the game's over. They allow that mentality to die and cease, right? What I started to learn is bring that freaking mentality into the real world. And that's the power of the digital world, and games and vision is like something that was fake and didn't really exist because it's literally in a game. You manifest it, and now you have the ability to do things that that weren't possible for humans before, because it wasn't in our psyche. We didn't have that same mentality. Maybe it manifested in a different way, right? But the power is through like this new ways. It discovers new solutions, right? And I think that's the coolest part about like online and digital world and making and mentality and everything, But all right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to cut to a video at the end here. All the best. Strong mentality. Peace out.
So my coolest memory is the first time that I went to New York. I went with my high school choir and we all drove in on a huge bus. We were really excited to be going. And then we got there and we got to explore Times Square and see all of the different like stores. We went to the Disney store and that was probably like the coolest part. Got some really cool pictures. And then we went to Chinatown and we got to explore down there, see a lot of cool places that you don't really see in Ohio. And then we ended the day by going to my first ever Broadway show, which was Aladdin, and I'm obsessed with Broadway, and so it was really exciting to go and see and be a part of that environment. And then we ended the day with just some like singing and fun things as we went back to our hotel.